Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing Ninjago characters and their ages, and why some Ninjago characters out there have a very complicated and very weird history of aging, because it happens a lot more frequently than you might initially think. With that being said though, this video will contain spoilers for Season 2 Part 2 of Ninjago Dragons Rising. Keep that in mind. Spoilers are ahead, and also there will be opinions featured in today's video. The subject of various Ninjago characters and their ages is a messy one, considering that the show hardly provides a canon answer as to how old some of these characters are, and as such, we will be doing a lot of estimating in today's video. Estimating according to my own opinion. So with that being said, let's start with our first example, Lloyd. Now this is probably the most famous example of a Ninjago character aging extremely strangely, because when we first met Lloyd back during the first season of Ninjago, it was very clear that he was young, right? I would estimate probably around 10 years old at the start of Ninjago Season 1. However, in the middle of Season 2, he gets aged up after using the Tomorrow's Tea, which ages his body physically to be around the same age as the other ninja. Now, according to Lloyd's voice actor Jillian Michaels, Lloyd went from around 10 to 14. Again, that's her estimation. I always said 15, but that's besides the point here. Lloyd was aged up physically. But was he aged up mentally? Ninjago fans have been asking and debating about this question for years, with some Ninjago fans insisting that Lloyd's actual age is a lot younger than what he physically appears to be. However, me personally, I never really bought that idea, because when he was aged up, I assumed he was aged up both mentally and physically. Lloyd, both physically and mentally, would be at a similar age now to the other ninja. The only thing that wasn't increased was the amount of time that Lloyd spent being alive. And I guess if you wanted to take all of that and say that Lloyd is still physically a lot older than he is mentally, then I guess go for it, but to me, being aged up means that he was aged up. The second example of a Ninjago character aging weirdly actually comes from one of the other ninja, that of course being Kai, and this is actually the most recent example as of the time of recording this video. Now this comes from Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2, when Kai was banished into Nether Space at the end of Season 2 Part 1, only to be restored to the Ninjago world at the end of Season 2 Part 2. The question in this scenario is, how long was Kai in Nether Space? Because that might have affected his aging. According to Ninjago series head writer Doc Wyatt, time in Nether Space passes normally. If you're stuck there, you feel every second. But how time passes is a separate issue from the effects of time on one's body, aging, needing to eat, etc. So when Kai was trapped in Nether Space, theoretically speaking, his physical body might not have aged. He still felt the time passing, but his body might not have also felt the time passing, meaning that when Kai was freed from Nether Space, his physical body would be the same age as when he went in at the end of Season 2 Part 1. So in this scenario, it depends fully on how long Kai was in Nether Space. Say, for example, it was 6 months. Again, using the mental versus physical age example, Kai would mentally be 6 months older than he would be physically. This is another reason why I never bought this idea with Lloyd. It just becomes too complicated for its own good. But like I said, Kai is the most recent example of a ninja aging strangely. Next, let's move on to Zayn. Now, Zayn is a very complicated case because there can be many arguments made surrounding how old Zayn is supposed to be. We learned through Ninjago history that Zayn was created nearly 40 years before the start of the Ninjago series during the Serpentine War, or around the same time. However, after Zayn's sacrifice at the end of Season 3 and being rebuilt into a new titanium body, some Ninjago fans have argued that Zayn's age was reset. Because of course he is in a new body, therefore he would be a lot younger now than he was previously. However, Zayn gaining a new body does not erase the time that Zayn spent in the Ninjago world before his sacrifice. And it's not like Titanium Zayn is a different person or anything. This is still still the same Zayn. Things get even more complicated when Zayn was banished 60 years in the past to the Neverrealm during Ninjago Season 11. Zayn spent around 60 years ruling as the Ice Emperor in the Neverrealm, spending more time in the Neverrealm as an evil dictator than time spent as a ninja. And when the ninja found him during Season 11, again, that would add around 60 plus more years to his age, meaning that Zayn, all things considered, in the modern-day Ninjago setting, would be around 100 years old, give or take. Again, you can argue for different things involving Zayn's age, but that's pretty much what I've concluded here. Our last example here comes in the form of Wu and Garmadon. Now, these two are extremely inconsistent when it comes to how old they actually are. For example, the series has said that Wu and Garmadon are easily over 1,000 years old, yet 40 years before the start of the Ninjago series, Wu and Garmadon looked like this, as seen in various flashbacks, again set during the Serpentine War. And they remained looking like this for a long time, up until Garmadon was banished. Garmadon was banished, however, bringing Lloyd back into the equation here, it would have been after Lloyd was born, or at least conceived, right? Because when you think about it, it would not make sense for Garmadon to be in the underworld when Lloyd was not conceived yet. And again, we estimated that Lloyd was around 10 years old at the start of the Ninjago series, so that means that Master Wu would have needed to have aged from this to this in about 10 years' time, give or take. How does that work? How does that make sense? Well, this is most definitely a case of the Ninjago timeline not being the most consistent thing out there. However, this question has at least been attempted to be answered before by various Ninjago staff members. Ninjago series co-creator Tommy Andreasen suggested that maybe what was keeping Wu and Garmadon so young was each other and the bond that they had. When Garmadon was banished, that bond was broken, and as such, Wu's body rapidly aged up in order to make up for lost time. However, again, for an in-universe explanation, that just does not exist, making Wu and Garmadon arguably some of the most perplexing examples of Ninjago characters aging throughout the entire Ninjago series. But with that being said, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about Ninjago characters that age strangely and some situations that are definitely not the best when it comes to the ages of these characters and how consistent they are. Leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments. What other Ninjago characters do you think age weirdly, and which of these strange examples is the most confusing? Leave all of your thoughts down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.